Happy Friday, Lucky Lefty Podcast. The ONORA boys are in the building. Brought to you by ONORA Whiskey on Bleav Network and presented by FanDuel. If you go to FanDuel right now, first two games are up left. Notre Dame is -2.5. -2.5. I might take that. That's 2.5. I think Notre Dame covers that. And then they come back after a bye at home against Texas A&M -7.5. They're giving them 7.5 against. I think they might flip those. I probably would give them 2.5 against Texas A&M and 7.5 against Miami.
That's right.
Yeah, presented by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. The app, download it. You already know if you're going to drink that ONORA whiskey. I forgot. They got that ONORA whiskey Lucky Lefty version. It's pretty dope. I saw it over on the website. Check it out.
Right,
and if you drink, make sure you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, love. That's right. Lucky Lefty Podcast. SD2 Mics, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Go over there. Tap in. Presented by FanDuel. Go download the FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com. Once again, game 1 against Miami. Notre Dame -2.5. Take that. The second game after a bye, Texas A&M, Mike Elko, they come into Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame's -7.5 right now. Hold off on that. We are the home of the misguided passion. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Players only podcast coming soon when the season starts. How's your Friday going, Left?
A lot of new movies are out. That Weapons movies they said was pretty good, so I got to check that out this weekend.
Okay.
There's some football going on. Football season is what, 2 weeks away?
What's going viral right now is Shilo Sanders all over social media. 2 first half touchdowns. It wasn't like spectacular, but he looks good. He looks good. He looks good for a 5th rounder. Left.
I mean, I guess he's using that as a moniker of like underratedness. I mean, I guess he could be the most accomplished underrated guy, but
that would be Tom Brady. Hold on now. That would forever be Tom Brady.
Shedeur was a little more peppered in his college days than Tom Brady was coming in, right? Or no? Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But I think what's awesome is that he's getting a chance to show the world what he actually can do instead of all the media speculation and all these hot takes on how the Browns are treating the situation. We always say we can say a bunch of things and make a bunch of guesstimations, but the player has to go out there and actually do it. So for him to actually go out there and perform, we're not saying that he has to be, 400 yards and 6 touchdowns in his first ever appearance. I just think it's a very large standard that is held to that. But he didn't bottom out. So I think if anything, you see it right in the middle. He played well, got a couple touchdowns. That's all you can ask for.
Are they pre-snap? Only 1 pre-snap penalty, I believe. Yeah, so that shows you handle the operation the way they ask you to handle the operation. Yeah, right out of the huddle, get the play call, and get the play off without making a mistake.
Yeah, we gotta see if you're functional. Can you go through the 1, 2, 3 ABCs? Can you cross your T's, dot your I's? And you love to see a guy that is like enjoying this process. It's a different story than Bronny, where they're drafted low and but they really didn't think nothing much of Bronny coming in. As Shador was like,
That's a
okay, he's
bad
in.
comparison. First of all, that's a horrible comparison.
How Bronny's
Stop.
actually playing well. So Bronny's
What
playing
did
well.
Bronny actually accomplish in college? Are you really comparing him to?
No, I'm saying media wise, he didn't
Oh,
play as.
okay, okay. I stand corrected then. I thought you were going over the ledge a little bit.
Oh my
Yeah, I was
god.
just trying to pull you back before you fell off.
Media wise, they both get held to this like mythical. Oh, they're supposed to go in and be like something that is unrealistic for a first year guy, I think. But Shadir's going to fit in right where he should. The whole fifth round thing, I think, just is added sauce to it. But I think overall, he's really ready for the moment.
The crazy thing is he didn't stop being who he was. I wanted to see if he was going to scale back on the theatrics, I guess, that people have a problem with. But he ran for a first down on a 3rd and long. I think it's about 3rd and 8. He got out of the pocket, ran for a first down. He did the watch thing, and then when he threw his touchdown, the second touchdown, he did his normal celebration in the end zone. So he's being himself. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it for the young kid. I also love seeing Julian Aquara, 6-year
Yeah,
vet,
he's one
getting a
guy.
sack.
He's
He
in
got
there.
a sack on the 3rd down. So it's good to see Notre Dame cats getting it in the NFL. And I don't even know where Romeo is now, because Romeo usually hangs around on a roster. But it's good to see Julian is still in the league.
Yeah, Romeo's a very Renaissance man himself, probably taking pictures somewhere in the south of France, or he has a whole nother lifestyle that he's trying to accomplish. So shout out to him. Julian, the younger brother just tends to last a little longer, huh? I think that's pretty cool, or like just keeping the name alive. So that's awesome to see.
If I'm not mistaken, Jude came in as you were leaving, right?
Yeah, his first year was my last year.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a baby. He came in with Julian Love and the rest of the crew in that class that were freshmen year last year. You had some pretty decent youngsters. You had a decent freshman class, your last year in the band, bro.
Yeah, recruiting's always at the top.
So today, we're going to get to the trenches. 2 things Notre Dame must do to be successful this year: protect the quarterback and pressure the quarterback. We're going to talk about both of those tonight. We expect to hear from Joe Rudolph. We expect to hear from Al Washington. And then we're going to hear from the offensive linemen: Emil Wagner, Billy Schrauff, Ashton Craig. He's really anxious to get back at it. Hasn't played in almost over close to a calendar year, coming up on a calendar year. And then you go to the defensive side of the ball: Donovan Heinisch, Junior Tuilamaka, Josh Burnham. We'll hear what they have to say about the prognosis of Notre Dame being able to pressure the quarterback up the middle and off the edge. I'm excited to hear what they have to say and to see what your reaction is, Left. But before we get to any of that, I want to say shout out once again to Malachi Fields being on the Bolitnikoff Award watch list. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Notre Dame continues to absolutely litter the award watch list for just about every award with players on the team. And I know that
Rightfully
might
so.
not. Yeah, we went a while without really offensively having people on the watch list. Defensively, we
Outside of
used
O
to
line.
guys, O line, right. I'm talking about now. You're talking about skill positions. That is really important to see that. We're going to talk
Riley
about
made
some.
I think Riley made a preseason last year, right?
Yeah, shout out to Riley Leonard too, man. I saw him making plays with his legs, like he always does last night for the Colts. Hit a
We
couple of
said
passes.
we had our prediction about Riley.
Riley Leonard's going to end up being the starting quarterback for the Colts. Watch.
Yeah, he's just one
Right there by Notre Dame. Yes. At some point, he's going to start football games for the
well. Let's
Indianapolis
just
Colts.
start with he's gonna make the team. He's gonna make the team. They're gonna keep him along. Sam Hartman starting the game.
Yes, he is starting the game for the
So, hey,
Commanders.
Notre Dame fans, Notre Dame recruits out there,
Who
come
is
1
the
year.
best? I have a question for you and Notre Dame fans. Who is the best current NFL player from Notre Dame? Who is the best current NFL player from Notre Dame?
Kyle Hamilton or Q or Ronnie.
Q would definitely be a candidate because he's recognized as, if not the best, one of the best.
Q, Kyle Hamilton, or Ronnie.
Kyron has been beasting. Kyle Hamilton. I think Harrison Smith is probably taking a step back.
Ronnie's in there.
Ronnie's probably. You think Ronnie's on the back nine of his career? You don't think so? He's still at the
Not when you
peak.
got Lamar.
Yeah. And Zach Martin retired, so that pretty much it might have been Zach Martin, no question.
It was Zach, no question.
Before he retired.
That was low key Q, no question. Julian Love's in there just because he going on a year.
J Love is doing his thing. I don't know if he's the best. Yeah, I think it's probably between Q and Kyle Hamilton. Yeah. You know what? Hey, Brandon Aubrey has been doing his thing as a kicker for the Cowboys. No real talk.
Yes, he has. Wow.
Joe Alt might end up playing left tackle this year because Rashawn Slater went down. He's out for the year. So the Chargers might have to bump Joe Alt over to left tackle this year.
No problem.
From right tackle. Yeah, it definitely won't be a problem.
Yeah, anytime you talk Notre Dame, you just like, oh, okay, he's good.
Especially on the offensive line.
Just a good roster builder. I mean, you just got a good, reliable piece.
Especially on the offensive line. I don't think it would be a problem at all, left at all, for Joe Alt to go ahead and move over to left tackle. That's a good insurance policy to have at right tackle because he's one of the best right tackles, or he's going to end up being one of the best right tackles in the NFL. So to have him to just bang over to left tackle.
Ronnie's at left.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is feeling okay. He's feeling okay. Honestly, I watched some football. I think I watched the Seahawks and the Raiders last night. I saw Jalen Milroe. I'm going to say something that sounds crazy because I've never played a snap of football in my life. Other than Sandlot, a little bit of high school. Other than that, left. The defenses in the preseason are so vanilla, bro. I just don't understand how you don't perform as a quarterback.
Yeah, it's really just like if you got the cojones and to really run the show. Because the plays and the looks ain't hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like I saw somebody in the chat say that, preseason, is trash. I'm like, no, if you can't handle the preseason, it's like a weed out course, right? It's like if you can't handle the preseason,
yes, I mean everybody's playing during the time, everybody's playing their heart out. So it's like you're gonna get max effort from everybody that's out there. It's just more of like from a quarterback standpoint. All right, can you run the show? Can you get the call? Can you line people up?
Mm-hmm.
Can you look decent? What's your third down look like? Can you operate? I mean, they're not necessarily evaluating wins and losses, which is really the biggest thing. That's the whole point of the football is the wins and losses, but you can't do that in preseason. So this is strictly about roster performance. And from a quarterback standpoint, if you could just run the show and not have a bunch of turnovers, you're gonna put yourself in a good position.
Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. So once again, go over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com, or download the FanDuel app where you will find Notre Dame giving up 2.5 points to the Miami Hurricanes on August the 31st. I think the over-under is at 53.5 left, and we pretty much think right now we might be leaning to the under because we're pretty sure that Notre Dame can put up 30. Miami being
Worst
able
case,
to,
worst
yeah,
case, because if you can't give up that many points and then turn into us the next year, it takes a couple years to become super locked down. You know?
So Joe Rudolph. Before we get to Joe Rudolph left, I think it's vitally important, and we talked about this. It's been fortunate that Notre Dame had a quarterback like Riley Leonard, as they allowed this offensive line to kind of mesh and come together. And then, like you said on the previous show this week, three of our starters bounced. Three of our starters just bounced. And they
To
bounced
become
because
captains
they become
and
captains and
heads of
starters
men and
elsewhere.
leaders and councilmen in other organizations and programs.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
became the heads of. Let's walk in,
yes.
day one, nice CEO position. I mean, you know, but they were getting tossed around and struggled to start
Yeah,
Notre Dame. So I
yeah,
mean, we just what falls off of our tree tends to feed communities.
yeah. Yeah, super chat from my guy Doma Wop. Glad you're both back. Thank you, Doma Wop. We continue to pray for you, man. Stay strong. You will get to the end of the tunnel, and everything will be divinely in your favor, man. Believe that. Stick
Yes,
with
sir.
the process. I've traveled the road that you're going down, my brother. So, for a young quarterback, if you had to choose, because we want that cohesion to be there across the entire offensive line with 4 or 5 starters coming back, the return of Ashton Craig from injury, how effective he was before he went down against Purdue. For you, what are you telling your offensive line if you're Joe Rudolph, knowing you have these young guys, and how much more pressure is on Ashton Craig as the center with the young quarterback to make sure picking up the block scheme, you're sliding the line the correct way to assist the quarterback, even though that responsibility will majorly be in the quarterback's hands. You have to expect that Ashton Craig, as the captain of that offensive line, the starting center, is going to be part of the operation as well, and vitally important.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of telling guys like, listen, we're just going to be in a position of being the rock, letting guys play off of us by us doing our job to the best of our ability. If we go out there and just do our job and block what's in front of us, give our young quarterback time to figure things out. I think it's hard when you're running for your life. And as long as he's not running for his life and we're doing a great job in the run game, the quarterback integrating and being successful is real easy. But it starts with having the equilibrium of the team and the offense being set through that offensive line. So consistency and toughness, mental toughness. I'm sure Ashton Craig will handle a lot of the early on calls and line responsibilities and just assisting the quarterback if he makes a mistake. A constant just communication between the two. Hell, one of the biggest things is cadence. You got two different guys with two different sounds getting off on the snap, and that whole thing is a process in of itself. So just ground up day one things that you work on. But overall, Rudolph's message is that we don't go unless we are cohesive, playing as a 5-man front. And as long as we do that and we consistent on our job and we're tough, everybody else will find comfort in that and they can play their game and get on board. So I think the running game is obviously something that's probably stressed as a lead off because that's our bread and butter. And with this nuance with Denbrock dusting off the old playbook, I'm expecting some pass blocking to be uh, also very effective, or even the play action game, which is something I hope we see more of. We saw more of it towards the end of last year, but if you got Jeremiah Love threatening you with Jadarian Price and Aeneas Williams and Kedrick Young doing all of that, there's no way play action is going to be something that Denbrock goes too heavily because it helps the quarterback take some of the rush off. If you got the D line chasing or reading run, as you can get time to set up and read the defense, it's just a really good advantage for a young quarterback. You think of the Cowboys when Dak first took over for Tony Romo, it was heavy Zeke. And then when they started feeding you with a bunch of Zeke, hit you with a couple of Dak play actions, and now Dak's $100 million guy. So it shows you when you got the run game, working quarterback into a groove, especially with the expectation of don't lose it. This is the sweet area. It's like getting a rookie quarterback on a veteran offense. It's a sweet spot because you don't got to pay him much. He just got there. He's growing. He got some talents that we want to develop, but there's no pressure for him to go win a game, i.e. Deshaun Kaiser 2015, i.e. Ian Book 2017, right? i.e. Ed Ghost in 2012. Just don't lose the game. You got Manti Te'o back there and Tyler Eifert on the field and Zach Martin blocking for you. Just don't lose it. So this is the year where a quarterback can really reap off of the benefits of just doing his job. Next year, the switch is going to turn, and he's going to have to start winning games. But by that time, he should be ready.
Joe Rudolph, he talked about how important communication will be with the offensive line, something that's been happening in camp. And so this is what he had to say.
It's everything. You know what I mean? Like your communication sets where you're going, sets who you're working with. I think it's absolutely the key. And the more confident you have in the group, then they have confidence in each other off of that communication. I thought we built into that last year where we really got good. And that's why the guys that ended up finishing that year out, they were the best at doing that. They were on the same page. They were able to execute. And so same thing, like we got to work to that level where, it's in the first group, but who in that second group can work exactly the same way. But it's everything to what we do.
Is it always Ashton that does that, or is it collaboration?
There's a little bit of a line of communication. We talk about how we work orderly communication and where that communication starts and where it ends. And then after that communication happens, we have guys aware of certain situations based on their alignments to communicate back inside. So we're active until that ball snap.
Rudolph just got to keep the train rolling. Don't do too much and taint the waters. Just keep feeding the coal into the coal pit. We don't need nothing too inventive. Just don't get too cute. Just because it's a luxurious position. The offensive line coaching position, just like the tight end coaching position, just like the running back coaching position, has been a very nice retirement plan. Not necessarily retirement plan, but it's been a nice position to just do your job. Your players are going to take care of you. They're going to play. They don't need much maintenance. They don't need a savior. They just need somebody to just be consistent. It's a nice spot to be in. So, for Rudolph, just don't mess it up. There's no different than the quarterback situation this year. Just don't lose it for us. And I swear we'll be fine. Now, Al Washington, conversely, has to go win some games. Has to be the forefront of the defensive units. We're here. You have to make a presence known. So your expectation is a little different. You can't coast. You can't sit on the bookshelf like Geno did last year. Geno can't do it. Geno and Al Washington got to sit up in the chair like, playing the PS5. Got to sit up and lock in. Because those are the gears that haven't been used, but they need to be turning if we want to get further this year. And I think they're both ready. I'm excited to see what they put out there as a product. But, offensive line, man, it starts and ends with us. And it sets the tone for camp. Day one, they out there whooping tails. So guys got to start falling in line.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And he even talked about not only the communication, how important it is, because I said he mentioned Ashton Craig. It starts with him, and then they decide where it ends. More than likely, the communication starts with him. A lot of times you see the center turn around, look at the quarterback, and the quarterback is the one that finishes things. Um, but I expect going down to Miami, they will work on silent counts and some other things to help out the quarterbacks. You talked about cadence, in a loud stadium, first time on the road. That's something, that can mess up the operation. If both of these quarterbacks, whoever starts left, if that quarterback can have a clean operation in a hostile environment, that's half the battle. I'm gonna keep it funky. Just getting us in the right formation, calling the right play, getting the right motion, making sure everybody's set up, no pre-snap penalties. That's half the battle. The talent will take over from there. Just don't make the mistakes that can make it more difficult for you in your first start. And I think that quarterback is going to end up playing pretty well, in my opinion. Lucky Lefty podcast. He went on from talking about communication to talking about what Marcus Freeman wants from his offensive line. What Marcus Freeman wants.
He's got a name for each word, starting with gratitude. And I think when G for gratitude, when you take that into it, and if they have that mindset, I think you appreciate the opportunity you have, you appreciate the rep you have, you appreciate who you get to do it with and where you get to do it. That's truly special. And I can go through the others, but that G to me is kind of what, if we embrace that, we'll be where we want to be.
How does this year's offensive line compare in terms of physicality and chemistry compared to kind of the last two seasons?
Yeah, I think every year you're always trying to better your best. That's what I talk to the guys about. Who's going to raise the bar when it comes to a simple technique or a physicality or the way they pass protect? And, that's always the goal. Who's going to raise the bar in the room? And that's our goal, is to do that. Now, the challenge is every day. Like, can you do it consistently every single day? And that's a challenge during the season. Can you be this group for 12 of 15 games or 16 games, or can you be it for 16 of 16 games? And, no matter who's in there, that's the fight we take on.
Well, he talked about one thing, that's being grateful. Yeah, grateful I'm the offensive line coach with an offensive line like this. I don't have to overextend my coaching acumen. I can just do my job and things go probably better than usual. So it's always great when you have the surplus of players that care and the O-line's going to care. And then, just the next thing of just guys just being versatile and adaptable and for setting the tone and what are we going to be like each week has really just been the motto for the offensive line in general. They're just the most consistent guys. And to the point where whenever you get into these, Notre Dame's playing a big game, it always becomes, okay, well, if we start breaking the game down, offensive line, we're good. We're going to have a chance. So that's how you know we're never going to get just totally blown out of games, because the offensive line, regardless, is going to be showing up. I don't remember the last time where I'm like, dang, where's the offensive line just didn't show up today? They just got our guy killed. We couldn't run the ball. I don't think we've heard that in a long time. So
Clemson on the road. Clemson on the road and Louisville on the road. Those are the last two games in 2023.
The offensive line didn't show up at Louisville?
No, they did not. They absolutely did not show up.
The whole game? Oh.
You saw, dude, Ashton Gelati put Joe Alt on his butt. I had never seen that. Blake Fisher was bad that game. The entire offensive line was bad that game. Heck, they were bad. Pretty much every road game in 23, they were bad on the road against Duke until the last drive. Heck, they were bad that led to the fourth down conversion from Sam Hartman. That's how bad they were, so bad that Sam Hartman had to scramble for fourth and forever.
Bad is like,
oh, I think Left might have frozen. You there, Left?
set board or Okay, can you hear me?
You froze up just a little bit. Try to start over if you can.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's just considering what do you think is bad? 7 sacks in a game, terrible. Okay, but all these games that you're talking about are games in which we or one score or a couple plays different. It'll be different. So I don't consider those bad games. Bad games is like Alabama 2012, where block what? It wasn't nothing we could do. I mean, they were just overwhelming.
See, now, come on, man. Now you're throwing out olive branches. You're throwing out olive branches now.
We've seen bad offensive lines, but I wouldn't say our bad is the bad you see out here. Our bad is like an average day for an offensive line.
Look, Notre Dame's worst offensive line is probably middle of the pack in the country.
As I'm saying, we there's no way we're a bottom ever anything.
But I'm talking about the effort in particular games. The effort of the offensive line with 2 guys at tackle, same year on the road at Clemson, same year on the road at Louisville. You're supposed to have 2 anchors at tackle. And when they have bad games, what do you expect from the interior?
Yeah.
So on the road, it's safe to say that on the road, your offensive line is always valuable. So I don't want to diminish the value of the offensive line. But to go on the road with really good offensive line play is a luxury. When you can take an offensive line on the road, especially in a tough game, that's why I tip my cap. As many mistakes as they made last year, when it came down to it, that offensive line took over the last 8 minutes against Texas A&M on the road.
Yeah.
They took it over.
Yeah.
They played up and down pretty much the entire game. But the last 8 minutes, when Notre Dame needed it,
they gave it to them.
They delivered. They gave it to them. They gave it to them. And this offensive line, in my opinion, is better and deeper than last year's offensive line. Better and deeper with more experience. More in-game experience and big game experience. They've been in big games. They've been in big moments.
Yeah.
So you have to feel good about that. Matter of fact, I was listening to this guy. He's actually funny to me. It's a guy, I don't know if he's a comedian, but it's a Miami website, a YouTube channel. And his name is Comic Canes. Comic Canes. And I'm assuming he's a comedian, bro, because he was hilarious. And he basically was saying that he didn't believe Jeremiah Love was elite because Jeremiah Love didn't have a game over 150 yards and he struggled in the playoffs. But Left, I had to laugh because the way he was presenting it as a comedian, like he bust out singing Forever My Lady, dude, I almost lost it. Lost it.
Okay, he for the laughs. He's for the laughs. Okay.
I was like, yo, my man, you are funny. And I literally hit him in the chat like, you gotta come on Lucky Lefty before the game.
Yeah. Okay.
we have to have you on Lucky Lefty because it would be a great interview. He's funny. He's funny.
Bring him on. I'm gonna check him out. Comic Canes. Shout out to you.
Comic Canes. Be nice, Notre Dame fans, because he said he already knows. After he did the show today, he was like, I already know Notre Dame fans are going to be coming for my head all weekend.
That's right.
So be nice. He gave us opinion. It was factual. Jeremiah Love didn't have just an overwhelming, dominant game last year. He didn't go over 150. We know why he didn't perform up to his level in the playoff because of injury, everything. And he went up against tough defenses. Don't be nice to him, okay? Yeah, he was talking greasy. He was talking greasy. You could tell he was just looking at stat lines and really didn't look at the games because Notre
I mean,
Dame came
are we
out.
really gonna say Miami is on a Notre Dame level? Really?
When Notre Dame made the comeback, Jeremiah Love literally was the person they said, "Hey, we're gonna run for against Penn State."
Straight up the middle.
Coming out the second half, right?
Straight
Like,
up
come
the
on,
middle.
man. Yeah, But what else can you say? What else can you say? Lucky Lefty podcast. So we heard about communication. We heard him talk about the grit that Mike Denbrock wants from. I said Marcus Freeman originally. I apologize. Offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock and what he wants from the offensive line. Joe Rudolph then went on to talk about the return of Ashton Craig. How important will it be? And that D, how's it helping his offensive line?
He's been really good. He's a guy that we've been able to move around. Matty Augustine's been a guy we've been able to move around. Both of those guys show some high potential early. Cam is a young guy we've kept in one spot, but he's shown some really high potential. And Owen's been everything we want him to be. We just hope we don't have to throw him in there this early. But I'm excited about that group.
Sabrina over here.
How has Roby Lambert just kind of progressed throughout fall camp?
It's been great to get him back. We missed him for a chunk of time in the spring that you guys know about, and getting him back. We got him a little bit in the summer, but now he's back full go, and he's taken that growth. You see a little bit because he hasn't been in, but I think he'll have the fastest kind of rise over the next few days.
Joe, at what point in fall camp will this team earn its identity from you?
It's funny, we got a great defense. They got great schemes, they got great coaches, so it forces you to execute, and it doesn't allow you to take a breath. And so, our identity, good teams, their identity's got to be. It's got to be a little bit malleable. Like some games, man, you're going to have to pound the rock to win. Some games, we're going to have to make some key throws and get the ball down the field. And if your team can do that and they can trust each other to do that, you got something special. So that's what you're working to. Our defense forces us to do that every day. So you got to be balanced, and that's the key coming out of this.
Well, balance is more of the goal. But if we're talking about what it takes to win, I don't see us being in a position where we're in a game of needing to score throwing the football to overcome the challenge. I think the run game will be available, whether it be 300 yards that day or less. I don't think a team has the ability to take away one aspect. So, yeah, going into this year, we were like, from last year, where we were 70-30 run the pass.
It wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. It was a little bit closer than most people think. I think it was at the end of the year. I know at the end of the regular season, it was closer to 56-44, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, I mean, that number isn't going to be reflective this year. So I think that's more of them knowing they don't have to gear things down to be safe, because if you're running the ball 180 times with your quarterback, you don't have an offense. Let's just be clear about that. Any other quarterback that they care about in their program, you're not designing an offense where he carries the ball 180 times. Notre Dame didn't even think about that before Riley got there. So this just shows you what they fell into doing, which shows how weak the position was for us as quarterbacks, which I think we should never forget, but use as this is how lackluster our expectation of performance was, where we accepted 2,900 yards. Not under the facade of, we were doing what won games. No, we couldn't do it. 180 is unacceptable. You telling me there's a college football program like, for instance, DJ Lagway at Florida, are they thinking before the season, in order for us to win, we got to run him at 180 times? Nobody's thinking that. Even though Arch Manning runs the football and they got some runs called for him, I guarantee you he's not hitting 180 call runs. I mean, that's ridiculous. So Denbrock's definitely not going to do that coming into this year. So that means where's the production of the 140, maybe even more, 150 plays going to go to? That's the gap we're filling. Because I do think if Kenny starts, he'll have around 40 carries, something like that. But that 150, 140 other plays where we're not calling quarterback whatever run, that's where other guys got to eat up. And I think a lot of it goes to the receivers. A lot of it goes to the other four or five running backs, so it's going to be interesting.
Interesting to say the least. Last thing from Joe Rudolph before we switch over to the players. Or we'll get to Al Washington first, and then we'll get over to the players. He talked about Billy Schrauth and how he's grown. And it was also great to hear him talk about Owen Strebick, the return of Gerby Lambert being back fully healthy, full go. And there's another name buzzing on the offensive line that we'll get to. But this is what he had to say about the return and the continued growth of Billy Schrauth at left guard.
A little bit of detail. He's fire, like he's all fire and brimstone, and he just plays that way. And then I think there's some times where you keep that same approach, that same attitude, but there's a little bit of detail that you continue to bring with it. And I think he's really embraced that, and I've seen that type of growth so far this camp.
Sullivan strikes me as one of those Swiss Army knife guys you talked about, moving him around, but now you've got to use him at guard. How has his development been this?
Yeah, it's been great. He's battling, he's fighting his butt off, and like all the guys there, like the competition's real. Like you said, we're going to get the best 5 guys on the field one way or another, and we're rooting like heck. Sully steps up into that spot, but every guy in there, whether they were a starter walking into camp or not, like they're battling for that. So we need those other guys to push, and that's what's going to help us all to grow to be the best we can be.
Shout out to Sullivan Afshire getting his opportunity at right guard. But another name that's buzzing, man, is the forgotten guy on the offensive line. That's Matty Augustine. And but are we shocked, Left? Are we really shocked that somebody's buzzing on the offensive line? No, we're not shocked. We're not, because everybody wants what's up with Will Black, what's up with Gerby Lambert, what's up with all the top guys. And Matty Augustine has just put his head down and he's kicking butt. And everybody's buzzing about him, but that's par for the course. That's Notre Dame offensive line room consistently.
That's what makes it so crazy. It's the consistency. We got a Hall of Famer we just put in there.
And you know what else is crazy, Left? I'm gonna be honest with you. What's really crazy is that it doesn't matter if you start. Joe Rudolph, to me, collectively, outside of Mike Mickens, is number 2 in position room coaches.
Over the running back coach?
You might be right. Maybe 3. Maybe 3. And somebody might try to throw the linebacker coach up there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Let me tell you why. I'll give you behind the running back coach. But the only reason when you recruit the way you recruit at running back, they get the ball and they run the daylight, bro. I'm not saying they're not coached well. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm saying to recruit. Do you think it's hard to recruit offensive linemen in Notre Dame, though?
No, not at this
No,
point. We
no, that's
already
what I'm
spoke about
saying.
that. No,
That's why it can't be the number 2
No.
position. Because the
But
number 2 position,
does
because
not-
think about it. Number 1 is
Yeah.
due to pure crafting,
yes,
recruiting from
Yes.
scratch. I'm not even from scratch, but from just
Yes.
originality.
yeah,
I mean, hard work. I mean, all the credentials to be one is
yeah,
more than just an inherited. But this is you deserve it. For number 2 to be, that would mean number 2 would have to be somewhat like that, and it's not. You can't say the O line. You starting off 400 years ahead in the offensive line. You got you.
Let me ask you a question: is it easy to recruit running back, knowing the history of O line at Notre Dame? Do you not walk into? Wait a minute. Do you not walk into a young man's living room leading with that? This is what you can run behind every year.
I think Tony Alford set a nice recruiting trap or a nice recruiting program.
He's the bookmark, right? For the modern running back at Notre Dame. I can give you that.
The common sense in the recruiting space. He put the you got to come to Notre Dame because we have the best offensive linemen to running backs out there and recruit, because nobody was making the common sense connection. We should have had OJ Simpson, not USC. We should have had. I mean, now mind you, we've had.
That's going way back there. Let's bring it back to the 2000s and beyond. You went way back with OJ.
I'm just saying we've had really. I mean, but that's the thing. We've had countless all-time great sort of running backs, but I think some of that is true. We have got that. It's like quarterback. Well, you want to go to somewhere that's going to protect you. That's probably the first and foremost thing. You got to come. Now, the quarterback has been convoluted and a bunch of other stuff. But if we just go on raw checklist stuff, running back and quarterback is obvious. Notre Dame has to be in your consideration because they always have a good offensive line. So what are you telling me? You don't want to go there because you're going to be protected and have a run game? Common sense, which is in obviously gotten now by recruits. They're chomping at the bit because they know. They were seeing it in the wing years of Ian Book, like, oh my God, we just had like a superstar running back and quarterback. Ooh. With that offensive line, like that was always the tagline. When recruits leave Notre Dame, they be like, man, with that offensive line, shoot. With me and that offensive line there, shoot. That's what make you go. Dang, I'm about to be thrown behind that offensive line? Yeah, shoot, I can get to the league. I can stay healthy. I can do it. Jeremiah Love, I only got to get 7 carries and still can go to the league? Oh, yeah. Easy choice to me.
Yeah, I would definitely look at that as a quarterback or running back, But I just think the work
because Mike Mickens, the DBs wasn't saying, man, if I just go to Notre Dame.
As much as people talk about the depth of the secondary and as much as people talk about the depth of the running back room, I think the depth of the Notre Dame offensive line room this year in particular is vastly dismissed. It's just dismissed. Because it's Notre Dame. I think fans just expect Notre Dame and the offensive line to be a Notre Dame offensive line. And I really don't think people understand. In order to get snaps and reps and give a quicker path for your 5-star tackle to get on the field, you have to give him a shot at right guard where the only true position battle on the O-line exists. You understand what I'm saying? That's how talented the offensive line is. And you have guys like Will Black, Matty Augustine, Owen Strebick,
who could go
Kirby Lambert,
start wherever they
anywhere
want
else.
at the position they want.
Yes.
That's the difference. At the position they want. You just can't walk in the tackle here. I mean, it's just first of all,
Sullivan Absher finally gets his shot at right guard, and he's got a 5-star and another 4-star, another 4-star red shirt freshman breathing down his neck.
Down his neck. He just got there. He just showed up. Like he's like, finally, I can get to work. Now you got this dude's bigger than you breathing down your neck, younger than you, bigger than you. It's silly. It's really silly. It reminds me of the Parker Boudreaux situation. Came in all world, but it was just like, oh man.
I remember Parker Boudreaux.
Shout out to him. He's on Worldwide of Wrestling doing this thing. But it's like, where can you fit at 6'2"? Just start there. Just start there. Where you gonna fit at 6'2" when you got Nick Martin, Steve Elmer, Glenchie, I mean, you name it. Where? So it was more like, man, we try you at center. That was you know, and then you just in a predicament. So Notre Dame offensive line is like, man, listen. Just be patient. That's a true be patient, and you can learn on the job, learn on the fly.
Yeah. So once again, look, Joe Rudolph said he's going to find a way to get the best 5 on the field.
Don't act like he gonna have to lose nights sleeping now.
No, not at all. Not at all. He's one of the happiest people.
He's like, okay.
No, next to Mike Mickens and next to Jawan Sider, Joe Rudolph sleeps very well during camp. You better believe that.
All right, babe, I'm about to head up. It's only 9:30.
No. He's probably one of the first ones in the building every morning. Like, yo, what's up? Hey, Coach, how'd you sleep? Like a baby. I slept like a baby. Jagasaw won't be back until week 4. Still slept like a baby.
Like a baby.
Even better when he gets back.
Yeah, when he gets back, it's just extra comfort. I was already comfortable. Just extra comfort.
Yo, they asked Marcus Freeman when Charles Jagasaw gets back, is he going to start? He's like, no, he's going to have to compete. That lets you know everything you need to know. Like, no, he's not just going to walk in and take the right guard position back. He's going to have to come in and compete and take it.
I mean, theoretically, yes. Theoretically, yes. Yes, you do.
So that's what it is. Lucky Lefty Podcast. All right, let's hear from, this is your favorite part of tonight's show. I know you're going to pop on screen for this one because you're going to want, you definitely are going to want the people to see your expressions, because we're about to hear from Al Washington. This is the coach that you said the spotlight along with Gino Guidugli. This is your camp. This camp is about Gino Guidugli and the quarterbacks and Al Washington and this defensive line. And Al Washington met with the media. Before we get to him, Lucky Lefty Podcast, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Presented by and courtesy of FanDuel. FanDuel app, FanDuel.com. Notre Dame has the second best odds right now, the second best odds behind Ohio State to go undefeated in the regular season over at FanDuel right now. And we're on Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Tap in with us on the audio side because we give you audio edibles each and every day. Al Washington. A deeper line. Upwards of 20 guys.
20 guys.
Come on. To figure out playing time right now.
Come on now. 20 guys now.
20 guys. And he was asked about how to manage that depth, Left. How do you manage this depth? in 2025?
Just manage it by coaching everybody. I think like nobody's going through the day not getting coached. We coach a lot of two-spot, which helps, but we're watching a lot of film, and one person gets corrected, everybody gets corrected. So that's number one. I think number two, the added advantage is obviously through the new model of college football, it's a long year. So you can maintain a high level of play longer as opposed to getting broken down. The other part of it too is, competition brings out the best in most. So I think those guys compete, but not in a toxic way. They compete in the way of trying to win the game. And if to win the game, you need 40 plays, so be it. If you need 10, so be it. Like the Georgia game, Logan may have had 8 plays, but he was on the field that last sack. That's all that matters. So I think that's our mindset. But it's been a positive and certainly a blessing because they all work their tail off and they all can play.
Now I don't get it. I mean, what is there babysitting the guys? Or is this like an Irish invasion? You just not competing for scholarships? I don't get it, because my thing is, if you got all this, you got to find guys that are the dogs of the group. Now I know we recruit A1 day one, but that's not what we're doing here. We're not looking to just host 20 guys and go out there and somebody make it happen. I would love to hear Al say, oh, this is what I'm looking for. This is what it's going to take. The qualities is going to be of a Notre Dame D lineman that's starting for me this year is going to require these things. Is he a sack getter? Is he stopping the run? Is he two-gapping? Is he doing what we, something that can be achievable other than you telling me, oh, yeah, we're just going to coach everybody. Every day somebody's getting coached. Duh. Every day I hope you're getting coached every day. Okay, that's what everybody in America is doing. But at Notre Dame defensive line, that's not necessarily our issue. We've always had decently coached guys. We've never not had decently coached guys. It's about who has the extra gear. Why did Fausti come back? He was looking for the extra gear and the sack record, but the extra gear. He wanted to finish the job. He wanted to do a better job than the year before. So that requires a standard. I think it would have been very nice to hear him talk about a standard that he's looking for to make the cut, like making the band. It's one thing to get a scholarship at D-line in Notre Dame. We got transfers, we got young guys, we got guys coming back from injury, guys coming back that are motivated from playing last year, trying to hold their spot. I mean, this is not the casual O-line, okay, guys going to work into their groove. We're going to switch some different spots. And, we don't have that luxury at D-line because we don't have the identity at D-line yet. You just saying you just going to coach guys. Coach guys to do what? Are we looking for more pressure this year? Are we looking to, create more disruption in the backfield, up the middle, or what? So, like, what are you coaching? And then what is the identity? What are we trying to set? So, and maybe that's just his coaching style. He's more easygoing or whatever. But I just don't feel as if the moment is taken like it should. Like, this is like the crowning jewel of a football team is your quarterback and your D-line. We've just been blessed enough to make everything else look good. We've just made everything else look, hold up the weight of what the shiny two pieces of your football team are, and that's the D-line and the quarterback. That's got to be premier. That's premier for all the other teams that win. So, I think that it is nice that you have so many options, but that's just like a sandwich maker. If I'm at Subway has 20 different ingredients. All 20 don't taste good on the same sandwich. You can't put every ingredient in Subway on one sandwich and think that you're doing good. You got to be a master sandwich maker. where you know how to put the onions and the lettuce and the tomato just right with the olive oil, some of that salt and pepper, maybe some of that vinaigrette. But you're not gonna put that with some tuna. You're not gonna put that with some meatballs. So I need you to make the perfect D-line sandwich. I need to be a little cheesy. 3 cheeses. Hearty. I want the bacon, the turkey, the ham, and the roast beef. Don't short me. So not only do it gotta be big, gotta be good. Don't just say because I got every fresh ingredient that now we're gonna have a good sandwich. No, you gotta put the sandwich together. That's just like these difficult ass toys I order for my kids. They look great on the commercials and on the box because it's built. And then when you unbox it, it's 5 million pieces. I've never seen so many pieces going to build something so easy looking for a kid. But if you don't put it together right, it just don't work. You just get frustrated, throw it away, say it's broken, say they shipped it wrong. You got to lie to the kids while you can't build a toy. I don't want Al Golden to get to Christmas and tell Marcus Freeman, well, the gift just, we just couldn't put it together the right way. That's just not acceptable.
You mean Chris Ash?
I'm sorry, Al Washington.
Al Golden coached against the Eagles last night.
Oh, yeah, Al Golden. Oh, man, I miss him already. But no. Al Washington telling Marcus Freeman, the gift just not ready. The sandwich it's just not good. It's not tasting right. Marcus Freeman said, I went to the grocery store and got every sandwich item you could get. And you tell him you can't make something taste good out of all of that? We got 3 brands. We got the wheat, the Parmesan crust, and we got the white bread. So that's why it's just so important in my mind for Al Washington to be not generalized when he talks, because we already know we stocked up. We stocked up. We done got all the things we thought we were missing from a recruiting standpoint. We done beefed up all the amenities. We done got people locked in and locked down, ready to go. We done got the transfers in. Guys are healthy. The training staff then did their job. They done taped all the ankles and shoulders and fingers. I don't want to hear generalized talk, because that doesn't, you was generalized for the last 3 years. Tell me what you looking for, Al Washington. What's an Al Washington D lineman look like? That's the question.
Let me tell you something. That's the next step, right? Getting that first round, no-brainer defensive tackle in recruiting. That's the next step, bro. Getting that
but we don't know what it looks like. We don't have we have no vision of what it looks like. If you look at our D-line now, what's the recruiting type that is built to that? We have 7 million different body types at defensive line.
Unfortunately, and I hate to
you go to Ohio State or you go to Alabama.
I hate to pick at the scab of a wound that is healed, but Notre Dame will face that guy week 1 when they face Miami.
Oh,
he will be playing defensive tackle for Miami. He could have been that next guy or that guy.
Shoulda, coulda, but
shoulda, woulda, but we
never had the identity to have a guy yet. That's what I'm saying. Look, our identity we thought was what? The brother that went.
But you have to build to that point. You have to build to that point. Let's get no. Let me keep it a buck. Let me keep it a buck. Because like I said, I don't want to really reopen that conversation, right? Because Notre Dame fans get all frazzled in so many different ways. But basically, it's funny now. But when he said it, he said, who else am I playing next to in the class?
Right.
No, and everybody scoffed. everybody scoffed, right? He wasn't talking about who he was playing, the veterans. He's like, yo, who's going to be there when they leave? Who am I going to be playing next to? And so,
and then Al Washington says, well, we're coaching
they
everybody.
go to the portal this year to go get 2 interior guys because there was a need.
A need. Exactly.
Because it has not been handled through recruiting the way it needs to be. And so Gabriel Rubio, love him. Donovan Heinrich gives you everything, every single thing that you could ask of a player. And we're going to hear from him. But at the end of the day, that is like the last territory for Notre Dame recruiting. That's one, especially on the defensive side. Like, go get a first round, top 30, top 40 NFL draft pick at defensive tackle. That's a difference maker. Go find him, go get him. And so we'll see. But I believe his 2026 recruiting class, speaking of Al Washington, goes a long way to establishing what Left was talking about in what's the template? What is the template for that guy on the interior of the defensive line when it comes to recruiting? And speaking of guys that have jumped out, Boubacar Traore, he's back faster than most people thought. He's looking good. And Al Washington talked about his best pass rusher, his most explosive pass rusher, including Bryce Young, Boubacar Traore.
No, I mean, listen, we have the luxury of being smart with people, not throwing them out there before they're ready. But yeah, listen, Boubacar, he's a hell of a talent, really unique in the sense of like he's an explosive guy, but physical in the same breath. Like, he's a football player, so it'd be great to get him back. But hell, we talked to a couple of the guys, like, we got depth, man. Junior, Tui Alamaka, that shit, that guy played a lot of football. I have a high level of faith in him. Logan Thomas, Josh Burnham, Bryce Young. We got some guys. So we're gonna be smart with Boubacar, but man, he's a very talented player, and we want him to have an explosive introduction to this season, but beyond that too, we want to have a great year. So I guess that's that long-winded way to answer your question. Like, we don't have to push anybody past, and that's a blessing. I've been at times where that wasn't the case. Like, hey man, you can walk, get out there. So we don't. It's not that case. Lord willing, thankfully, that's the case.
The defensive line room has come a long way.
Yes, I mean we're in a potluck situation, but are we fat catting? You still got to put the the pedal to the metal. Just because you got so many and ample talent doesn't mean you can just say, "Oh, we're just gonna let it play out. We're not gonna push nobody. It's gonna be, we'll see how it goes." So it's just an interesting dynamic, but I still think we need to go even harder.
Yeah, I think that talent that you're talking about is going to be key. And also on the interior, a newcomer that has really played well, stepped it up since the spring. That is the transfer defensive tackle from Louisville, Jared Dawson. And this is his impact and what Al Washington said about him.
JD, man, a lot of experience, wise, vet, explosive, disruptive. So he's been great addition inside, very talented player. As to his credit, has really bought in to the culture and the way things are done here. I think Notre Dame's unique, man. Like, you can't just be a football player here. I think you gotta be a student athlete. Even he's a grad student, he's gonna be required to do things, and he's been great. He's been great in terms of understanding that. I think the payoff for him is, you're a pro before you're a pro. Next year, hey man, when you go in the NFL, they ain't gonna be holding your hand. So learn it now. And so I think that's been his focus, and he's been awesome to have, man. He's a hell of a talent.
I agree. Big guy, can get after the passer on the interior, I think he's going to be a valuable asset for the interior of the defensive line. Not just a good depth piece. I think he is really going to be a playmaker for the Fighting Irish, and especially at his size, when you can limit his snaps because of that depth, that makes him fresher in clutch situations, especially late in the third and in the fourth quarter of games, to be able to go and do what he does best. And that's to penetrate, wreak havoc, tackles for loss, and sacks. And that's what you need from him. Interesting question from Jefferson, or a comment from Jefferson. Shout out to you, Jefferson, for tapping in with us. Says Scott should have had vision like Kingston, walk by faith. Yeah, it's real easy to have faith when you got some hope in front of you. Because when you have faith in the hope of Jesus Christ. Don't get me to teaching, what was the hope? Because Kingston was looking at Drake, Jaden, a history of Notre Dame linebackers going to the NFL development. It was there. Buckets Award winners going over a decade at the position. It wasn't just like he was blindly looking at faith when it came to the linebacker position in Notre Dame. There was a lot of hope there from the history of what had been done. A lot of hope to hang that faith on.
A lot of.
Yeah, and we still are searching for that type of hope in recruiting and development. I would love to see one of these defensive linemen be a semifinalist or a finalist for one of these awards. Jerry Tillery, that's the name we pulled up.
You see, the problem is we have a bunch of
rules is out here trolling.
We have a bunch of good players at D-line as individuals. We need a great defensive line player that makes the D-line great. That's the difference, guys. We need somebody that makes the D-line great. We've had a sack leader. We've had a first round, second round, third round pick. But we need a guy that can be a top first, second round pick, but also a guy that commands a defensive line and gets the production out of other guys. We don't have that. We either have guys that are individually great or just a solid group collectively. It's no superstar or guy that makes the D-line even better.
And I look, make a difference, right? Go to a place but top players have shown for years that they want to go play where other great players or where they see other great players have gone and developed. That's recruiting. We just talked about the offensive line and how why is it easier to recruit offensive line at Notre Dame?
Because it's a golden ticket. It's the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Because hell, you just if you can get there, you'll just through osmosis become a great old lineman, win $100 million contract, get drafted, win a bunch of games,
One of the guys,
pedigree.
Yeah, one of the guys that this guy has become probably the best spring practice buzz player in Notre Dame history.
Jason Onion.
3 straight springs. Watch out for 47. He's on the come. Al Washington said this might be his time, and he talked about another youngster on the defensive line and his strengths.
Let's start with Jay. I mean, Jay's a great example, man, of just perseverance, and he's really worked himself. I think he's the best version of him, best playing version of him, and on and off the field. So he's been doing a hell of a job, Jason has. So I'm excited to see his progress. Chris Burgess, very talented young guy. He's physically, mature for his age, if you will. Very tough. He's learning the system. He's learning the scheme, but he loves football. So he's always one that you can coach hard. And when I mean hard, I don't mean just yelling at him. You can hold him accountable. You can correct things without him, breaking down. I think he gets better, and that's a good sign. So I'm excited about him. Yeah.
But we know Chris Burgess is definitely beyond his years in that weight room. So I don't know, man. If we can't find something out of 20 guys, then what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
We just have too many different types that can be successful. And we've seen it done on the same side of the ball in the secondary. We've seen guys not just be good, but pop on a country nationwide level. That's the jump that the D-line has to make. That's just what it is. Because I guarantee the linebackers are going to make that jump this year. The linebackers are prime. That group was just destined to be a superstar group. They're destined to be. They were young and they learned a lot in that Ohio State game, but they're destined to make that jump. D-line, we don't have an identity for the D-line. When are they going to make the jump? The secondary has done it. Fast.
So, and Jefferson, let's move away from Justin Scott. Let's bring it to 2026. June 13th will be a weekend and a day. 4 or 5 years from now that all Notre Dame fans look back to and say that was the most pivotal weekend in Notre Dame recruiting. You know why, Jefferson? It's a great comment. I'm not mad at Scott. He made his choice. All the best to him. Some guys choose hard, as Marcus Freeman says. So let me give you some context to choosing hard, because that's just a saying. You know why Notre Dame got all of those elite kids that visited that weekend? And it was a great job by Notre Dame because they understood. They finally got it. Great players want to play with other great players. So they brought in all the top guys on the same weekend, and all the kids were linked by saying, I'll take Ian Premer from Great Bend, Kansas. Not a target. You made a great point. I just want to bring it up and give context to it. Yes, they all chose hard, but they chose hard because they were like, let's all do it. They didn't just choose hard individually. Ian Premer went home and told his high school coach, man, I want to play. Literally, I wrote the article. It's over at Irish Breakdown. He literally said, I want to go somewhere. I don't want to go to Kansas State. I don't want to just go be great at Iowa State. I want to go to Notre Dame so I can play with those players and the great players, because that's what elite players want. It wasn't just about choosing hard. Has to have a context. You just can't say, well, choose hard. No. Choosing hard has to come with a context in connection with great players, because great players throughout the history of time, nothing has changed. Great players want to play with other great players. And you can give the message, choose hard. But if great players don't see other great players making the same choice, more than likely, they're going to choose to go elsewhere. Why? Because they want to play with other great players. It's as simple as that. I love the choose hard mantra because it is difficult at Notre Dame. It is a bit bigger load than anyone else when you throw academics into it. Notre Dame is different from a culture standpoint. They are different on the field, just from their independence, just from the schedule, each and every year. The expectations that academics do come first. That's why I had to talk about it, because you made a great point. I just wanted to give context to it. Whether it's Aiden Pouncey, Thomas Davis Jr., who was really the leader of that weekend, Jonas Walton, Javion Osborne, all the guys, Braden Robinson, all the guys that visited that weekend, Joey O'Brien, Kari Adams, Everybody that visited that weekend had the same mantra when they left and returned to their head coaches. And let's go to the 27 class. Don't get it twisted. Teddy Gerard saw the 5 wide receivers and he saw that offensive line. And Teddy Gerard said, yep, forget Georgia, forget Michigan, forget Penn State.
Yep.
I'm going to South Bend. I'm going to play with those dudes.
Yep.
That, because I believe wholeheartedly and choose hard. Like Marcus Freeman isn't just saying something like that. That is the truth about what you are stepping into as a student athlete at Notre Dame. But the more elite players you get, the easier it becomes to attract the next batch of elite players. And for positions like wide receiver, defensive line on the interior, that's the next frontier. That's just the next frontier in recruiting. But I appreciate you bringing up that point, Jefferson. Before we get off of Al Washington left, I think he had one more comment. He talked about Traore, Jared Dawson, but then he talked about how unselfish his defensive line room is when it comes to knowing that the reps are going to be spread.
Yeah.
This is what he had to say. It's a lot of talent.
So I think it starts with Coach Freeman. I think his culture is one where that's made crystal clear, like team glory, the objective. Every coach, every player, we're all pushing in the right direction. So that's number one. Number two, I think it's a credit to Notre Dame. Like Notre Dame, the university, the program, the tradition, there's not going to be any mysteries here. Everybody's going to, it brings a lot of eyes. So whether it's 10 plays or 20 plays, you make the most out of those plays, you're going to get that individual glow that you want. And so I think those are the reasons. I think for me, my standpoint is, I coach everybody the same, if you're a freshman, you're getting coached like the varsity and held to a standard. Obviously, you got to be more patient with a young guy, but I think that everybody in that room feels equal from the standpoint of hey, man, we all have to live up to a certain standard. I try to do that. So I think that's a combination. So it's not just me. I think it's the culture. I think it's the unique dynamic of Notre Dame that leaves you with the mindset, hey, man, if I do my job with these reps, if I make the most out of these reps, good things come on top of winning, most important.
I guess, like I said, if we just by committee and just going in service crews and rotation, and are we going to be productive as a group? I think yes, because we're talented. I just think, we've seen at the highest level. Now, mind you, it was the other best team in the nation, but when it came down to stars making plays, the D-line was just nowhere to be found. And so, yeah, they were all still good players, but we didn't have that bona fide star. And so I think that, yes, as good as it is to have so much, I would love to see some guys stand out.
Lef, I'm going to advocate right quick for Al Washington and say that I don't think it's about he just doesn't have established guys. He's not coming back with Howard Cross and Riley Mills, predicted to be the best interior tandem by Pro Football Focus, ESPN, and every other platform. He doesn't have those guys. He doesn't have those veterans that have been through the wars. He doesn't. So now he just had to. Somebody has to establish themselves. All right. You guys will decide who the two top guys are.
But that's got to be demanded. I don't think he's demanding that out of the group. He just talks.
How can you say
passively.
that? How can
He
you
just
say
talks
that?
very passively about the group. He said we got a bunch of good guys and they work hard and we coach everybody and
But he's
everybody
talking to the media. You can't. I just watched him go. I was literally at practice the other day and watched him coach. He's not passive on the field.
No,
He's
I
not
think
the
he.
same
No, I
demeanor
think
on the field as he shares when he's talking to the media. I just wanted to point that out. I just want to advocate that I don't think he's being soft on the defensive line. I think he
no,
knows.
I don't think he's being soft. I would just hope he believes that he can actualize a greater talent than what he had last year. I think that should apply to everybody on the staff, but I think in particular to the D line because still, as great as we liked Howard Cross and Riley Mills, there's a level to be reached. And I think out of the 20 guys, the level can and should be reached through that.
Yeah. I just think I would much rather have a lot of depth than to have one really good guy and questionable depth around that one really good guy.
I'm saying, but what
I would
about
prefer. I would
the
prefer. I would prefer to have a lot of good guys. A lot of really.
we do
good
gotta, but
guys.
we have a lot of good guys. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, can we have a couple dudes out of a good guy group? Alabama had a lot.
We just had that discussion. That's the last frontier.
That's what I'm advocating for. Alabama had a great D line for years, but they always had dudes though. Household names, even guys that didn't play, like Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. We knew we'd start calling them 15. We said, who is 15? Because Georgia and Alabama are famous for that. Not that we have to be them, but they can roll out a number on the D line and he'll go out there and make a whole bunch of plays. You'd be like, who is that? Oh, that's just the reload. That's just the young guy. He's gonna be the man that ends up being freaking Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams came out of nowhere, right?
That's
Jared Allen didn't play to his junior year and then all of a sudden took off. Yeah, I mean, it became a factory. Yeah, that's what you want.
That's what the level I think that we can achieve and get to. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you want. That's absolutely what you will want in that defensive line room. You want a reload in a sense. And for me, I'm gonna keep it honest with you, Left. For me, I think that the D line is going to be the key to this defense. It won't be the secondary. It won't be the linebackers. It's going to be the D line and whether or not they can establish pressure off the edge, which I love hearing. Love hearing that Chris Ash is allowing them to line up at wider splits, to come upfield. I saw them the other day. They were working on counter moves, chasing the ball carrier and rushing the passer. I see the things that you talk about, Left. I see the things that you're talking about and that you want to see. I see them in practice. And so for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think they do have I think that they do have a chance to be really good. And I do think they have a chance to surprise a lot of people this year, that D-line. I really do. Because honestly, with everything that happened, you have to tip your cap to Al Washington, the way that D-line played after Howard Cross and Riley Mills, for most parts, just Riley Mills was gone after Indiana, and Howard Cross was pretty much at 70% the second third of the year.
Yeah, I mean that's due to having a lot of good guys. We got a lot of good guys that are very productive as it's just one of those things where it's like the girls back.
Oh man, I feel like he was about to get on the roll. We might have had another food analogy coming.
13 and 14. We just no. You got me. You got me.
You froze a little bit. That's why I was saying.
I was saying.
There you go. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was more like the girls basketball team problem of like the 2013-14 era where we were better than everybody else, but it was just so much of a different level when it came to UConn. So it was like, what's the difference? Because D-line wise, yeah, we got a bunch of good players. So losing to Riley Mills and Howard Cross, but then you're playing Virginia and Louisville and Syracuse. And, the guys that we have can be serviceable and good. But when we play Ohio State, now we didn't have, Riley Mills, but it was like, okay, there's a clear difference of where we need to be. So that's kind of where the D-line is in my mind is that, yeah, we could compete and do well versus 98, 95%, 94% of college football's O-lines as a unit. But that extra 5%, that requires stars and good players. It requires stars and good players. So we need the star part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's like, oh, there's levels to it. So getting a Keon Keeley would have been great. Getting the number one kid that's coming next year is a great start. And this maybe it is more of a name thing when it comes to those positions and stars. But we've shown that we can do good at everything else to support it. But you can't replace it. You need to still have that dude.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So we got off to a late start, so we might not go as long as we originally planned. Left, you want to save the players for tomorrow? You want to do a show tomorrow?
Yeah, save the players for tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hear from the players tomorrow because we did a lot on Al Washington and Joe Rudolph tonight. But before we leave, we do have a question for Left, and Left can go ahead and promote something he has coming up in South Bend. Will you or Malik be in Miami? Lucky Lefty tailgate setup? Absolutely not.
Yeah, not for that one.
Absolutely not. But September 13th, Left, we will be in the Bend, and you have an event that weekend.
Signing autographs.
Where is it going to be at, Left? Let everybody know.
I guess the parking lot, that is the thing.
Parking lot of stadium set up.
Be out there. Great tailgaters always come. It's a good event. I guess they've been doing it for years. So come on, Texas A&M should be a great turnout because they travel pretty well too. So the whole thing is awesome, man. I'm excited for this season. I think that it's going to be a lot. As much as we talk about how it's going to be smooth sailing, I know there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be teams that fight a little harder and make the journey a little bit more challenging, but we'll be all right.
Now, this is it. Chris Conover. Thank you for tapping in. SHAUN and MALIK. Our current D-line should be one of the top units this season. We've got Young and Trey Ori as day one picks on the edge. Rubio, Dawson. I'm not as high on Gabriel Rubio as everybody else. I'm just not. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen elite play. So I need to see consistent elite play. Jared Dawson's in the middle is better than what we had last year. Neither one of those guys are better than Riley Mills. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Neither one of those dudes on the interior is better than Riley Mills.
Maybe Sean Sevillano will pop out.
Davion Dixon is having a better camp than Sean Sevillano. I'm just saying.
Come on, D-line. I'm rooting for you.
And let's be honest. When you say one of the top units this season, is the D-line in the top 5 of units on the team?
TBA. TBD.
I don't think the D-line is better than the O-line. They're
Not
not
better
better
than
than the running backs. Not
Not
better
better
than
than
linebackers.
tight ends, not better than linebackers, not better than the corners.
They might be better than tight ends. They might be better than tight ends. They're definitely not better than the secondary. So that's 4. I know 4 units. They definitely
Poor
not better
units, they
than.
not better. They definitely not better than poor
You
units,
can
right?
you can argue the D-line is better. It's probably 5th. Even if you're high on those guys, Chris, they're still the 5th best unit on the team. They're not better than the running backs. They're not better than the secondary. They're not better than the O-line. And they're definitely not better than the running backs and the linebackers. They're not. They're not. The talent is just too good in other areas, which bodes well. Like, we're not saying that to be disparaging. We're just, that really highlights just how talented the team is. That a much improved defensive line with a wealth of talent and depth is the 5th best unit on your team. That's saying something. But as far as high-end talent, I don't think there's anybody on the inside currently, because we haven't seen them play. So it's kind of unfair to talk about it. But I mean, we're having the conversation. It's hard to say that someone on the interior won't play better than Riley Mills. And Riley Mills played his butt off and would have gone earlier in the draft if he had played throughout the playoffs. He probably would have been a 2nd, 3rd round pick if he plays throughout the playoffs and continues to play at the rate he was playing. I mean, just go watch the Indiana game.
2nd, 3rd round pick?
Oh, yeah. Riley Mills definitely would have been 2 rounds quicker as far as being drafted if he plays. Because the way he dominated Indiana. Heck, our D-line dominated Georgia without him. So he would have dominated Georgia. I feel very confident he would have been dominant in that game. Absolutely. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because one of the D linemen, and I never thought about it. This is a great tease for you guys to come check us out tomorrow. One of the D linemen that spoke to the media said the D-line is a bunch of misfits that feel disrespected.
Good.
That's an interesting. Wait till we hear from this young man tomorrow, because I want to get your. I'm gonna let you marinate on that overnight, Lev. This defensive line and this group, they feel like some misfits, and they feel like they're being disrespected. They feel like they're being disrespected.
Don't have no leader.
Well,
I can tell you why. Because who they gonna send out there to be the representative? Representative.
Representative. That word can get you sometimes.
Who is the representative of the D line? Come on, that's what I'm saying. They don't got no leader. So they like, okay, well, y'all ain't got no leader. Y'all ain't got nothing. What's the chain of command in the D line room? Jason I just got back. Jordan Tello just got off injury. What's the hierarchy? Because that matters, man. I know everybody good. Everybody's having a good time. It's fun. Everybody want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the hierarchy? There's a hierarchy in the running back room, even though it's not said.
Yeah.
There's a hierarchy in the offensive line. There's a hierarchy in the tight end room.
All right,
line. Hold on. The hierarchy in the secondary, hierarchy in the linebacker room. They done told you last year the linebacker room hierarchy went.
Yeah.
Drake Bowen is the head of the snake. Fall in line after that. So that's why they should feel disrespect. They ain't got no leader.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, Who is the best college football team of all time? Who is the best college football team of all time? Two interesting videos came. I don't know if it was an answer to the other video, but they came out on social media. Back-to-back days left. So let's hear from these two individuals. Best team in college football history. Man, is the clip going to play?
Jimbo Fisher, Florida State one.
Let me try and bring that up again, ladies and gents. I apologize for the technical difficulties. It waits until the end of the show to be problematic.
Steve Bean, all right, on Instagram.
Okay, that is not what I wanted to play because that is your boy Cam going at Gilly, which is hilarious right now.
No comparison in my mind. The 2001 Miami team that beat Nebraska, that's the best college football team of all time. Sean Taylor and Antrell Roll and Kellen Winslow were running down on kickoff.
Yeah,
because they couldn't, because they weren't good enough. Yeah. Willis McGahee was moved to backup fullback because he was third string tailback behind Frank Gore and Clinton Portis.
Yeah. It's insane. Andre Johnson,
Jeremy Shockey, Bryant McKinney, Dorsey,
Vilma, right?
Yo, DJ Williams. Let me tell you something, Left. For my money,
it's a great team.
Yeah, bro. Well, Sean Taylor was on kickoff, bro. I'm gonna say that again. Sean Taylor and Antrell Roll and Kellen Winslow were on kickoff coverage, bro.
All first rounders.
That's bananas. That's
kickoff, man.
They were on kickoff, bro. So you know special teams had to be bananas that year. It had to be. It's a no-brainer. Let's see if I don't think this is the right one either. No, that's but the other one we could talk about. The other one was your boy Jimbo Fisher, bro.
Oh yeah.
And Jimbo Fisher, for some reason, I don't know if he's going to be a stickler because he used the word dominant. That was his word. That the 2013 Seminoles were the most dominant champion in the history of college football. And he made some good points because he brought up the stats. Here it is, Left. I think we finally got it. Let's see if it'll work for us on the way out. Thank you guys for being patient. There we go.
People don't realize this. If you go back and look in the last 90 years of football, do you know that's the most dominant team in NCAA history? Point differential. See, LSU broke our record by most points in a season by 1 point, but they played an extra game.
And not only that, so like you mentioned earlier,
we called the dogs off at halftime. We weren't trying to do it. We didn't know. That's just what we played. But you remember we led the country in defense that year in scoring. Our point differential was 39 points a game. The largest top 5 deficit, the 51-14 game. Largest top 25 deficit, the Maryland 62-0 game. They were top 25, beat them 62-0. Beat Clemson 51-14, who was 2 top 5 teams who finished in the top 5. I mean, those teams, remember the NC State game, we're up 35-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean, I'm just saying how dominant that team wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Whoever we played, if you look it up, it doesn't get the respect. Every guy on that team played in the NFL. It started and played. That secondary, all of them played 8 or more years. Terrence Brooks, I mean, how good a player he was. I mean, PJ, and Darby and Jalen and LaMarcus and Terrence and Telvin and Eddie and I mean the whole crew up from Timmy. I mean all of them. I mean on the offensive line, everybody played forever, and then that team does not get the respect and had the best kicker.
Yeah.
And our punter would have been one of the tops in the country. He just didn't punt enough. He didn't qualify enough. He didn't have enough punts.
Yeah.
I mean, that team does not get the respect, and I'll put that team up with any team in the college football ever. I'll put that team up with anybody.
All right, Lef. I don't know what you're going to say. He had me. Let me be fair to Coach. First of all, he's a coach, Coach Fisher, fighting for his squad in their place in history. I have no problem with him doing that. That's number one. Number two, I'm with you, Coach, if you're going to say most dominant, because you have the numbers to back it up. What you said about LSU having to play an extra game to score more points than you guys, and you were calling off the dogs the majority of the time, week to week, the largest margin of victory ever by a team, the largest margin of victory versus top 25 teams in a season, you have the numbers to back it up. So if you want to debate whether or not your team was the most dominant, I won't even fire. I won't even fire back at you, Coach. You'll get no pushback from me, Coach Fisher. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Stand on that for the rest of your life. Die on that hill. Have no problem with your argument. But when you get to the very end and say, I'll put that team up against any team, literally, your best two players in that team probably were Jalen Ramsey and James Winston.
Yeah.
Did you just not hear Greg Olsen rattle off future Hall of Famers on punt coverage and kickoff coverage for the 2000 Canes? So, do you really? I don't think you want to do that. I don't. I don't think Joe Burrow's LSU squad won't smoke with that 2000 Miami team. You don't want to smoke with them. You don't want that smoke, bro. Promise you don't want that smoke. A team with Ed Reed and Sean Taylor on the roster. You don't want that smoke. You don't. You don't. Just some tidbits. Let me have some folly on the way out. For those of you trying to figure out what the quarterback situation is going to be, I know, Lef, you have stated that you feel like it's a strong possibility that both quarterbacks are going to end up playing this year at some point. I'm going to say this, Lef. I believe that a decision is close to being made. They just put the pads on, Lef. So I think the next few padded practices will go a long way. The next time Marcus Freeman meets with the media is the 17th. They practice. Media has access this Sunday. I will not be there because I will be in my pulpit. I'm sorry. I'm not sacrificing my pulpit to go view practice. But I will have eyes there and boots on the ground, in a sense. However, the next media availability for Marcus Freeman is the following Sunday. By the 17th, which would be 2 weeks before the game, to me, Lef, that feels like a perfect time. That's your next meeting with the media. 2 weeks before the game. To me, Lef, that sounds like the perfect time to announce who the starter is after a week of practices in full pads. That sounds like the perfect time to me, Lef. It just does. I'm not saying that's when it's going to happen, but just looking at it, That makes sense. If there is no one named as a starter by the 17th, Notre Dame fans, I'll throw my hands up and say, I don't know. At this point, I just don't know. I don't know. But I would fully expect that something should have resolved itself from the quarterback battle by the 17th. I think that's fair to say. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We got the super chat left. I got JG Y-Town. I'm assuming that's Youngstown. ND fan said, did you win a state championship? If I'm not mistaken,
they won the year before I got there. They were
that's
back
what I thought. Yeah. Because didn't you guys lose like in the playoffs your senior year?
Senior year, we lost first round to the team that ended up winning it.
That's when it stinks, bro.
But it just shows you the brackets was messed up because how did the 2 number 1 teams play in the first round? Didn't make no sense.
So they treated you all like they treat the public schools here in the state of Illinois when it comes to tournament time.
Man, I guess so, because not that we had a problem playing them, but it was like we're the 2 best teams in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're in the first game. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we knew that was like the state championship, and then they ended up winning it all. So
yeah. It is just to give you some background. Basically, what happens is every year, for the longest, only one team out of the city of Chicago could go downstate for the basketball tournament. Whoever won the city. And literally, the city would have half of the top 25 teams in the state every year. And then they opened it up to open seeding and podding, but they always put the city teams in the same 2 pods, limiting the opportunities to only 2 teams from the city making it downstate. So it's really not the best teams that get to go downstate, because they still find a way to make the city schools play each other for the right to go downstate. But I understand, man. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go to FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Notre Dame right now is at plus 420. To be undefeated during the regular season, Ohio State is the only team with better odds at plus 390. Over at FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Check us out on Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Left will be going live on TikTok on a daily basis starting soon. So fans, tap in with him over on TikTok. Starting tomorrow, Lucky Lefty Pod, answering questions, talking about buzz from the spring and the fall camps, and giving his thoughts. I'm sure he's going to give his thoughts on the quarterback situation moving forward. You know what time you're going to jump on tomorrow, Lev?
11.
11 your time?
Yep.
So that's 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. Go over to Lucky Lefty Pod, tap in, go follow us right now. Go follow us on TikTok right now. Lucky Lefty Pod. Left is going to be going live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. And then we'll do a show later on in the afternoon. Lucky Lefty Podcast. So for Left SD2 mics, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget TikTok Live with that dude. 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 p.m. Central. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go follow us now so you can get the notification and stay tapped in. You already know we spin it different.